Matthew and Fiona as well? Yeah. Fantastic. Here we go. Nice and quiet now, please, folks, for shooting. Okay, let's roll sound, please.
Flea is a surreal drama about a man and a wife who can't conceive, and the response this triggers in the man and the journey he goes on, which coincides with an obsession with birds.
You think, isn't it, that it's all a joke?
Sorry, I wasn't.
Well, it's all started because it came just after we actually created the studio in the first place, about a year and a half ago, I think it was, wasn't it?
Unbelievable.
And we knew that we wanted to have an ensemble of actors that made theatre pieces, but also we wanted to start making some short films. The idea originally started because we wanted something that wasn't your typical British style. You know, I've long been a fan of people like Michael Haneke, various European directors, and I felt I wasn't really seeing those sorts of things produced in Britain. So I said to Dave Mitchell, the writer who was working here at the studio at the time, why don't you try and create a short film, let us say in the style of Michael Haneke. One of the big aims of the studio is to bring film directors together with actors so that we have a community of people in the studio who are making projects. But more than that, to actually provide a forum for directors to understand perhaps the acting process. Very often, I know that many actors will say, but directors just don't understand how we work. They go to film school, but they don't really understand in depth quite what it means to create a character in a story. So to that end, Dan came along and he did a course that we had here, how to work with actors for film directors. And in that course, he was asked to act himself.
So I joined the Caravanserai about a year ago, largely born out of my acknowledgement that I didn't know anything about the acting process, hadn't spent that much time working with actors, and was really quite... and also I wasn't very comfortable with rehearsals, and I remember going to a talk with Guy Pearce at the London Film Festival, and he'd said that he didn't think many directors actually felt confident dealing with actors, and that they didn't allocate much rehearsal time, primarily because they were fearful of it. So I recognised that in myself and figured that, I mean, certainly as a director, if you can't, your actors are obviously as the principal component to the piece, so if you can't actually relate to them or work, or find a way of working with them, then you really can't do your job effectively. So I joined the studio, spent several terms doing an acting course for directors, which basically immersed us in all the techniques and processes that are method-based. I also did movement classes, Meisner classes, and yeah, I have to say it was a thoroughly daunting affair all round. It made me very humble to the difficulties faced by an actor, in particular exposing the process of exposing yourself and being vulnerable, and then I guess that compiled with or complicated by the need to tell the story and to deal in a technical environment. So I definitely gained a huge amount of respect for the length that actors will go to put themselves on the line, and also the difficulty and the amount of work they have to do, the amount of research or learning or even sort of searching their own lives and trying to link themselves with the character. I thought it was all very, very tough, actually.
You were a long time.
Watching the clock. I've got a curfew now. Punch in, punch out.
I didn't mean that. I was worried.
Hop, hop.
My role is to move in together with Giles into the arena of an actor, but getting the actor to understand how to use themselves physically and challenge themselves physically, so they are aware of who am I in a connection to space. So they have a kinetic understanding of themselves and space. We found that it needed to be birds, yeah. So we had the eagle, and that was
With Andy.
Yeah, that was Andy, and then Fifi. It was a kind of a chicken, or then it was between something with pigeon and chicken. I can't remember. Chicken? Pigeon? A cuckoo. That was it. No, yeah, that was it. That was it. And that was so very interesting itself, because the cuckoo has then, it's kind of it's a bird, and it moves like this, and it looks like this, but it also has that storytelling extra about is the bird that pushes other birds out of the nest, and that is a help to the actor to sort of use the animal itself with that extra dimension, that extra characteristic. And then of course with the eagle, which was just wonderful with Andy, and he was a wonderful eagle. It was this sense of being empowered. That's it. Feel of the energy. Keep on going.
Hop, hop, little flea. That's all you are. That's all you'll ever be. Hop, hop. You're just a flea.
The vast majority of crew are people I've known for a long time working on the Harry Potter films, and Dave Mackey is an exceptional DOP. He works on second unit with me as a clapper loader, but his instinct and presence is really quite incredible, and it's really pleasurable to work with him. And then because we don't storyboard it, it really is just a case of coming in the day before and going, well, I think this would be a nice shot. What do you think? Yeah, I think that'd be a great shot. And we just, it was a really good sparky relationship, and that goes for everyone. We had a lovely sound guy. For most of the days was Francis, where everything was no problem. He was absolutely a really pleasurable to work with. Art director Tom did an amazing job. We just left him largely to it. Kavita totally created Andy's look, and the transformation towards the nest scene. She managed to do all that from her own instinct and understanding of the story, and just brought it to me, and I was amazed.
How much set?
And action.
Sandwich.
I'm going to go for it.
Nothing changes, does it?
Great.
All right, thank you very much.